When describing the immensity of the Roman Empire, you must include everything embraced by the long arms of the ocean. Rome was the entire world, and the entire world was Rome. If identical things should have identical names, then we can do without the name Rome and call it Earth or Sea, making the world fit Rome, because the map of Rome is the map of the world.
Without its roads, Rome would never have acquired the cosmic dimensions that inspired the 16th century French poet Du Bellay many centuries after the empire's fall. One of these roads, lying along the northwest coast of the Mediterranean, connected Rome with Spain, where, 2,000 years later, in Merida, a museum was opened in honor of the ancient mother country. After conquering Spain, Rome's legions extended its dominion into Africa, the Middle East, and the hostile lands of the north. Everywhere, the Romans built roads that stretched for unprecedented distances, crossing rivers, swamps, and even mountains. Advanced construction skills permitted efficient drainage systems that made Roman roads resistant to the elements of nature, while the care taken over the surface paving and the use of gravel and sand to provide sound foundations made them able to withstand heavy traffic over the years. The paving usually consisted of beaten earth, viae terrenae, or of gravel and cobblestone, viae glaria stratae. But the Roman roads most familiar to us were paved with blocks of basalt or volcanic flint. The constant passage of vehicles left deep furrows, but sometimes, especially in uneven, steep terrain, the furrows were made on purpose to prevent vehicles from going off the road. A vast network of roads connected Rome with the furthest cities of the empire and linked those cities with each other. In this way, it was possible to keep the immense area of the empire under control through the rapid deployment of troops, efficiency in trade, and better communications. From the early years of the Republic, the system of roads that connected Rome with its distant dominions played a crucial role in political, economic, and cultural developments, in the same way that the railroad, telegraph, and other means of communication would do during the 19th century. They were part of a huge communication and distribution complex on which all international influence is based. The roads leading to and from ancient Rome traveled in all directions, carrying enormous wealth and peoples of every race. We may consider them under four headings: the roads to the south, the west, the north, and the east. The Via Ostiense, beginning at the gate of the same name, led to Ostia, one of the three large ports of Rome, the others being Pozzuoli and Brindisi. The river Tiber was also a transport route, with large boats for grain and sloops for passengers.
Founded by Ancus Marcius, a king of Rome, Ostia was equipped with a port for fine ships and for sailors whose life on the sea is so perilous.
The port mentioned by Ennius was enlarged in various stages by Claudius, Nero, and Trajan, who added the large hexagonal docks. Bold Greek and Phoenician sailors had made the Mediterranean Sea an immense thoroughfare uniting the peoples of three continents. Ships departing from Ostia also headed south to Africa. In 146 BC, after more than a century of bloody fighting, Carthage was destroyed, giving Rome, its great rival, complete supremacy over the Mediterranean. Carthage itself was rebuilt and became the most important Roman city in proconsular Africa, which included Tunisia and parts of Libya and Algeria. It was a rich province that shipped large quantities of grain and oil to Italy from its largest port, Carthage. During the centuries of the empire, Greek, Punic, and Roman cultures strongly influenced one another. The mosaics in the elegant residences along the African coast testify to this. Although extensive desert areas and hostile populations inland prevented the Romans from developing a commercially viable road system throughout the entire province, they did build roads all along the North African coast, from the Atlantic to the Nile and on into Asia. This coastal road network was necessary for moving troops quickly to put down revolts and control marauding tribes. Armed escorts often accompanied the transport of goods. Flourishing inland cities, such as Duga and Thuburbo-Maius, which possessed all the urban infrastructures typical of Roman civilization, were dependent for trade on the roads connecting them to the chief seaports. The high standard of living in North African cities, which included theaters, public baths, and temples, benefited from a flourishing trade with the vast interior regions, whose products were shipped to the coast along caravan routes through the desert. Prosperity in these military and economic strongholds in the North African colony endured well into the 3rd century AD. Their importance was already clear to Scipio Aemilianus when he refused to destroy Thuburbo-Maius, even though it had remained faithful to Carthage. In 27 BC, Augustus turned the town into a colony for his veterans.
South of the colony of Carthage live the Libyan Phoenicians in a land of unsurpassed fertility, where the earth gives back to the farmers 100 grains for every one planted. There we find the free cities of Leptis and Sabrata on the coast of the Gulf of Syrtis Major.
Like Leptis Magna, Sabrata, mentioned by Pliny the Elder, was located on the Libyan side of the province of Africa. The ruins of its theatre give us an idea of the city's prosperity and of the cultural level of life in the African colonies, where the heritage of Carthage was methodically Romanized.